I wanted to know you. And the
But
only
you
way
didn't know it would be me.
birthed you.
But you didn't know it would be me. It could have been anyone.
I know.
It could have been Jeffrey Dahmer 2.0.
No. Yeah, I absolutely wanted to have you and your brother. I knew that your father would be a great father. And
he already was one.
Because he already was one. He had a track record. And and I wanted to meet you. And here you are.
My mom tried to raise me without gender roles. She gave me a unisex name. She referred to me as she, so I guess in that sense she viewed me as a girl, but she didn't buy me Barbies or dolls, really. Not that only girls can play with those, but you know how stuff marketed to little kids is very gendered, especially back then. What do we even mean when we say it's a boy or it's a girl? The whole thing is so dumb. So anyway, she dressed me in mostly neutral baby clothes that she then used with my brother, who was born a year and a half later. Despite all of this, none of us can escape the patriarchy. The overt misogyny of American culture in the early 2000s still permeated my little brain. Perhaps it was through looking at tabloid covers in line at the supermarket, or watching music videos on TV in the early mornings before school, or through things I heard my friends say. But when my mother came home one day with her hair cut short, like a man's, I expressed disdain. And then at school I would defensively correct other kids when they mistook her for my dad from afar when she walked us to school. Somehow this rigid perspective on gender had already been instilled in me, but not by my mother.
That was a shock and not, something that I ever would have imagined. But, she had struggled.
Did she cause you to struggle because of how she struggled?
No, I mean, as a young person, I went through difficult experiences that were part of her life, like the terrible second marriage and, the getting out of it.
Was she ever not able to take care of you as much as she should have because she was depressed?
Yeah, there were those times.
And you had to take care of yourself and your siblings?
Mm-hmm.
That's hard.
When I think about my mother's childhood, I feel a lot of things. I'm astonished that she was able to grow from that trauma because not everyone can, nor should they be expected to. I also feel guilty because, in a way, I feel bad that she gave me something that she herself wasn't able to have. A good childhood. In 2020, my mom ran for the local school board and won, unseating the incumbent trustee. Trustee is what they call the school board representatives, which basically means anyone in a position of trust. The woman my mom had run against definitely abused her position of trust by demonizing teachers and teachers' unions, lobbying for in-person classes and graduations during the pandemic before any vaccines, and frequently spouting transphobic rhetoric that children should not be taught that they can choose their gender in schools. But after a deeply polarized race for what is supposed to be a nonpartisan office, my mom won.
What I'm most concerned about, and this relates directly to schools, is that we understand that gender is a concept and a construct, and that we make sure that our shared spaces, like our public schools, honor the dignity of everyone who comes in the door, that they feel affirmed that it is their space. However, they identify themselves, however, they express themselves. That's very important.
Mm-hmm.
More than a year into the pandemic, in my many doom scrolling sessions, I have seen people, sometimes strangers, mourning the loss of one of their parents on social media. This awakens in me a terror I cannot subdue. Humanity as a collective has lost so much in such a short time that the number is incomprehensible. But each personal loss is still unique. My mother did not get to say goodbye to her own mother in 2011. I wonder how many countless others have endured the same thing. I've been making things with and inspired by my parents this year because I realized how quickly everything could change. The sense of how fast your world can shatter has never been more clear. I want to admire my mother while she's still alive. I want her and everyone to bear witness, to acknowledge, and to know how important she is.